So you're thinking of moving to Smyrna, Georgia, but before you do, you want to know everything, the good and the bad, and that's exactly what we're going to cover in this video. Now, there are a lot of great things about Smyrna, but there are a couple of cons that we want you to be aware of, and we're going to get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living in Atlanta, or in this case, Smyrna, well then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so you can stay up to date on the market here in Atlanta. My name's Denny. The team and I get calls each and every day from people just like you looking for help in making the move to Atlanta, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're moving next week, next month, or next year, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even schedule a Zoom, and we'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to Atlanta. I have actually lived all over the country, so I love videos like this because having moved from Atlanta to New York, back to Atlanta, LA, Chicago, Dallas, Fort Worth, Atlanta, I just want to be a resource. And I want to share that personal experience with you because there is a lot to love about Smyrna, and then a couple of things that you need to be aware of just in case they're like deal breakers. And so for me, like one of the downsides to Smyrna, or one of the first cons, is the traffic. Because it's right there, 285 is the perimeter around Atlanta, and then 75 is the interstate that goes northwest to Tennessee, and it's right at that intersection. So during rush hour, the morning or evening commute, that can be very, 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 very congested, both on the interstate and on the local roads. And the new Braves Stadium is also right there in that area, so when there's a Braves game, like the World Series, which the Braves are in right now, that's one thing, but like anytime there's a Braves game, that area is going to be super congested and get really busy. And so traffic is definitely at the top of the list for cons as it relates to the Smyrna area. The other one is really going to be the schools. And now let me put that in perspective. It's in Cobb County, and Cobb County schools are really good relative to the rest of the country. And they're some of the top rated schools in the state. But Smyrna, in the city of Smyrna, you're going to have some that are just good and some that are great. And so relative to most of the other Cobb County school systems, like those Smyrna public schools have room for improvement. But relative to the rest of the world, like they're great schools, if that makes sense. But I did want to put it on that list because, well, depending on where you're at, they could be better. Back to the traffic conversation, and this plays right into it, is public transportation. Smyrna doesn't have access to the train, the MARTA, the bus system, things of that nature. There aren't a lot of bike paths, and so I'll call it like the lack of public transportation is one, and as part of that, really the dependence on a car. You're really not going to be able to walk or bike most places. It's not a live, work, play kind of a community. So that's definitely one of the downsides. But that's really the case in most of Atlanta. Atlanta's not really a public transportation kind of a city like a Chicago or like a New York, where you can live without a car, and that applies to the Smyrna area as well. One of the things that I put on all of my Georgia videos for cons, and that applies to Smyrna as well, are the bugs. And I'm going to talk about a couple of different versions. One, just like insects and mosquitoes in general. If you have blood type O like me, mosquitoes love you. My wife, she could stand in a mosquito storm and she would never get bit. So you're going to need like a dino trap, which is just one of those like black lights with a fan that captures mosquitoes. We have one it's like $80. It covers a whole acre. And so that just stays running in the evening so that it catches all the mosquitoes. You can also have spray for mosquitoes. We don't do that, but you could have that done. So that's the outdoor insects. Inside, we use earth conscious pest control, which is healthy or safe for kids and pets because we have both. And so just want to use something that's like cleaner and safer for the family. But that's like, $350, $400 a year. They'll come anytime I call them, but we typically have them come out like once a quarter. It takes them maybe 20 or 30 minutes. He just runs around the house and treats the house. That takes care of all the inside insects. My kids and my wife, they're not at all. They don't like insects. So it's manageable. You just get it treated. And last but not least, this thing called a Joro spider came from, I think, Japan 2 years ago on a cargo ship. And now they're all over Georgia. And so a Joro spider looks really scary, but it's not poisonous. But nobody really likes spiders. Are cool, like for Halloween, but you don't really want them around all the time. So whenever spider season hits, it's like in the summer, early fall, and they pop up everywhere. I buy that spray can and I run around and I spray them like once a week for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they stop coming back. But it is something that I felt like I needed to share because it is, you will experience it when you get here, and it's been quite the talk of the town around Atlanta in the last 2 years. Last but not least, on the cons, which I'm actually going to start the pros with the same con because it depends on how you feel about it, and that is the weather. It's called Hot Atlanta for a reason. Smyrna is a suburb of Atlanta, and so the summers are extremely hot, extremely humid, extremely muggy. You're talking July and August are the worst, and 95 to 100 here feels worse than 110 in Arizona or Nevada. So it really is like it's the humidity makes the hot hotter and the cold colder, and so the weather can be one of the downsides or a con to living in Atlanta or in Smyrna. But I'm going to start our pros list with the same thing because I love the weather. Having been born and raised in Georgia, I've played soccer my whole life in the heat of Atlanta, and I love heat. I love the summer more than I do the winters. So it's something that I actually enjoy, and there's a lot of benefits that come with summer. So the pro is going to be that we have 4 seasons. Not just summer, 4 seasons. And so the benefits to a hot summer is lake life. You can get out boat, jet ski, paddleboard, kayak, do all those fun water sports, and lots of summertime sports and activities. And so summers are hot, but there's a lot of benefits that come with that. The fall is an amazing time of year where the leaves change and you see red and yellow and orange and green and all this. So the fall's beautiful. The weather cools off just a little bit. It's super comfortable. Then you have college football in the fall, and the University of Georgia is currently #1 in the country, so go Dogs. But you have fall football. Like, there's just a lot to love about the fall, Halloween, and then and getting into Thanksgiving. It's the beginning of November when I'm shooting this, and it's about 50s in the morning and 70s in the afternoon. So it's really beautiful during the fall and super comfortable. And then into the winter, occasionally, like once every couple of years, it snows. There's not going to be a lot of white Christmases, but it does cool off for a couple of months. Late November, December, January, maybe even into February, it's cold. Then it starts to thaw out and warm up again. And we're back into spring. In spring, you have, if you're from around Augusta, Georgia, the Masters is played there. In that place, the Masters is known for how beautiful it is. But all over Georgia, you have like flowers are in bloom. The weather's comfortable and nice. People are coming out of that winter shell and getting back outdoors. And it really is a great time of year. So pro number 1 is 4 seasons. So my second pro is going to be really in Smyrna, the population the population opportunity and like job growth, economic growth. It's not like one of these explosive places. It really grew late 90s and through the 2000s, but Home Depot's there. IBM's there as an employer. There is steady population growth going on. So affordable housing in all the opportunities that come with kind of that economy. Economy is really the number 2 because you're getting good values for homes, steady job growth, steady population growth, big employers, all of that stuff. Population's around 56,000 there. Median household income's around 76,000, and median home value is right at the mid threes, 350, 400,000, depending on where you look. So lots of opportunity. Now there are pockets of Smyrna where those real estate prices are really booming and blowing up, but it really depends on, is it an older home, is it a newer home, is it new construction, is it renovated? But still some good values to be had, and the economy is doing very well in Smyrna. I mentioned earlier about the schools being in Cobb County. Taxes are going to be on my list of positives as well. Here in Georgia, Fulton County is where the city of Atlanta is, and the taxes are a little bit higher, and it's less efficient and costs are higher. So in Cobb County, the county's run very efficiently, so their property taxes, sales tax, all of that stuff is going to be a little bit lower especially than Fulton and DeKalb and Gwinnett. And so lower taxes is definitely a benefit of being in Smyrna, which is in Cobb County. The next is maybe I could have put it at the top of the list, and that's going to be the people. I talk about this also in a lot of my Georgia videos, is that the Southern charm is a real thing here, and the people are friendly and nice. There's mean people everywhere, right? But the overall culture and the vibe and the people are extremely nice, and I think you're going to find that to be the case if you land in Smyrna, or really any of the suburbs of Atlanta. Is you're going to see a lot of diversity. Atlanta's a melting pot, and you're going to find a lot of nice people. Location and proximity are really big advantages for Smyrna, and I'll give you some examples. I told you it was the traffic's bad, right? But because it's on 285 and 75, you can get anywhere you need to go. Like, you can literally get to the Braves Stadium, which is right there. It's bordered by Marietta to the north, East Cobb, which is kind of in that, and then Vinings. And so all of those have kind of vibrant economies going on too. But Braves Stadium, depending on where you live, is like 5 or 10 minutes. So you can get over to a game really quickly. You can, the World Series just wrapped up here, and it's back in Houston, but we're up 3-2, go Braves. And Truist Park, the new Braves Stadium, is right there in this huge development called the Battery. Restaurants and bars and entertainment and nightlife, all of that stuff right there. And so proximity to the Braves game, you can get down to the airport, Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, maybe 20 to 30 minutes. You can get to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where they play the Atlanta Falcons and Atlanta United play, in 20 to 30 minutes. The Hawks is right next door, so same thing, about 20 to 30 minutes. In State Farm Arena, downtown Atlanta, 20 to 30 minutes. Like, you can really get just about hit the top of the perimeter, go up 400 to Sandy Springs, Roswell, Alpharetta, or up 75 to Lake Altoona. And headed up towards Tennessee. And that's probably, depending on where you live and where you're going, maybe 30 to 45 minutes. And so it's really a great central location, and gives you the ability to get to just about anything you want to get to or need to get to very quickly. And then I mentioned it, but locally you have IBM and Home Depot and other really large employers. So there's a lot of value in the location and proximity of Smyrna. Next on the list, we have parks and recreation. When I say that there are dozens of parks, no matter where you live, there's going to be close proximity to a park. So you're going to have opportunity to get out in nature. You're going to have dog parks and skateboard parks and all the youth sports and playgrounds and just all the things that you want as a family, or even as whether you're single, young, old. Like, everybody loves to get out and enjoy God's creation, and you definitely have an opportunity to do that. But I want to, maybe on a completely separate pro benefit, is the Silver Comet Trail. It actually starts in Smyrna and it goes all the way to Alabama. I'm talking a paved trail for over 60 miles to the Alabama border. When it hits the Alabama border, it changes names and it goes all the way to Anniston, Alabama for over another 30 miles. So it's 95 miles of a paved trail. As long as it doesn't have a motor, you can take it out there. So walk, bike, hike, run, horse, dog, whatever you want to do, you got 95 miles to enjoy it. And so I think that's a really big benefit to living in Smyrna, is that you have access to the Silver Comet Trail. Last but not least would be just like my family and I, we're a bit of foodies. We love a variety of restaurants, and not just the national chain restaurants and not just the fast food restaurants, but really quality fine dining local restaurants. And so you're going to get a lot of that in Smyrna, of every different cuisine that you could imagine, no matter what your preference is. A lot of them around the Battery, a lot of them around the Cumberland Mall area, and a lot of them are in like the downtown area, the Smyrna Town Center. So, and then a lot of them just kind of independently all around Smyrna. But you're gonna have a ton of options as it relates to restaurants. A few that I'll call out: Musson Turner's is really good. It's got good food, and they've got a little speakeasy behind a refrigerator door that you can get into that's kind of cool. I talked about another speakeasy out in Alpharetta that I enjoy, Roaring Social. But that's one. Jim and Nick's barbecue, delicious. So if you're into barbecue, you're going to want to check that out. And then if you're into craft coffee and you like coffee like I do, my wife loves it even more, but I do enjoy it, and that would be Rev Coffee, where if you check out my Smyrna vlog, I did my market recap, and so that's REV Rev Coffee. So those are just some examples of the bars, restaurants, coffee shops, things in the area that I'd highly recommend you check out. And just in an overall, as a pro, I'd say the cost of living. Like in Atlanta, there are definitely some areas where it would cost you more just to do your daily life. So as it relates to like just your groceries, gas, school, haircuts, home, housing expenses, like all of that stuff, like Smyrna is definitely one of the better values where you can still get a lot of bang for your buck, and its proximity to all those other things has a lot of value too. So the cost of living in Smyrna is really affordable and definitely a pro for the list. Now, that wasn't a comprehensive list. I don't know it all, and I probably forgot a few things. And you could do us all a huge favor. If you live in Smyrna or have before, you're welcome to add to the list in the comments below. We appreciate the feedback. We're trying to be a resource for people who are looking to make the move across the state or across the country to the Smyrna area, and so your feedback is welcome. We appreciate all the feedback and all of our subscribers. If you haven't subscribed below, tap that bell for notifications so you know when we release new videos, because we release a couple of them every single week. And we appreciate your support and feedback for that. And then of course, if you're moving to Atlanta or the Smyrna area, we would be glad to be a resource. So whether you're moving next week or next month or next year, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or schedule a Zoom. We'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to Atlanta. And if I don't see you around town, maybe I'll see you on the next episode. Y'all take care.